My name is Brendan Bardick with Brendan Bardick Real Estate Coaching, where our mission is to train the most elite real estate agents and coaches on earth. Today we're going to be talking about how to work with buyers and make it easy, right? It's one of the questions I get all the time from my coaching clients, people on my team. I had a ton of these questions when I first started out of how can I make this process easier and increase my conversion to have bigger success, right? I don't want to have to go show 50, 60, 20, 30, 40, however many houses for every one home I sell. I hear agents all the time, Brendan, man, I'm working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've got 6 buyers right now. You don't know how hard it is to do this, da 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 da. Look, I get it. I understand. Believe me, I get it. I've been there, right? So when we're looking at buyers, the simple way to break this entire process down to increase conversion, and conversion being the word meaning I go and show them 5 houses and they buy 1 that day. That's what we're starting out with. So we got to start out with, I just talked about this in another class we were teaching, which was goal setting. So start with the finish line first. The finish line is I'm setting out on Saturday to show 5 houses, and we're going to write an offer and get it accepted on 1 of them, and my buyer is going to high-five me for being the most amazing agent on earth. That's the mindset we have to go in. I hear a lot of agents kind of already kick themselves from the beginning going, oh man, I got another buyer and she seems difficult. She wants to see a lot of properties, doesn't really know what she wants. Oh boy, this is going to be and you're already programming yourself to just make your life miserable. So set that mental finish line that I'm going to go and show them 3, 5, 7 properties. They're going to love 1 of them and they're going to make an offer. We're going to go under contract. They're going to high-five me and we're going to have a successful closing. All right. So to do that process, we've got to do a couple of things to make working with buyers easy. Number 1, we got to set the standard, right? We have to set the standard for how the buyer is going to work with us and how we're going to provide them with the most exceptional buying experience on earth. I always want to make sure that they understand that the most exceptional purchasing experience or buying experience, buying sounds weird, most exceptional home purchase experience on earth, okay? That's how you have to think. So if I'm going to be providing that level of experience, I have to have standards in place to deliver upon that experience. So when I'm doing that, the first process to set the standard always starts with how I work with the buyer and how they work with me. So I always start with a buyer consultation. Now, I always try to have this in the office if humanly possible, but if you have to do it at their Starbucks or their home, somewhere like that, that's okay, but it's preferable in your office because you have your TV or whiteboard or laptop up and available, preferably making it a presentation about how you're going to show them how you're going to work with your technology, why it's amazing, the whole process, how simple it is, all this fun stuff. Remember, we get paid at the level we present. You get paid at the level of your buyer presentation because that buyer's deciding right now, does he or she know his stuff or her stuff? Are they legit? Is this some jerk off that I'm going to be like, oh my gosh? You're earning that reputation during that consultation and you're setting the standard. All right. So now we're setting the standard. So consultation. Now I get this question a lot. Can I do the consultation if I meet them at the first property? The answer is yes, but it's not preferable. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You're out there in the streets. Things are happening really fast. You got to do what you got to do. Hey, that's what you have to do. But then when you get to the first house, before you show them second, third, and fourth home, we got to make sure we go through the consultation and make sure that the standards were really right. And we had to set a lot of those standards on the phone. All right. So now, once they're in there, here's what the standards I'm going to set. So Betty and John, you know what? Thanks so much for coming in today. I'm really excited about providing you with the most exceptional home buying experience on earth. A couple of things I just want to go through and talk about. So number one, need to make sure before we do anything, look at any homes, that you're pre-qualified by a lender. Now, I prefer they use mine in this situation, but if they have to utilize an outside one, that's okay. I always try to get them to utilize mine as a secondary option because I know there's trust there in that relationship. I always say, great, I know you want to use Wells Fargo. Oh, John, or Betty, I just had a client use Wells Fargo and it was an absolute nightmare. Here's the reasons why. Or it was just a nightmare. So I'm okay if you want to maybe use them as a possible option, but I've been working with Annie, John, Steve for years, and my clients rave about them. They tell me they have great rates, the best service, they're here local. So I highly, highly, highly think it would be worth your time to at least have a conversation with them. All right. Now, so that's the one part. The second part is that they're going to be utilizing my technology, your technology. They have to use your technology. So I've got to explain that technology and why it's better than XYZ, Zillow, Redfin, any other weird ways that they're finding properties. I want them coming to me and using my shop for the rest of time. Not, hey, I saw this on Zillow, Brendan, or hey, I saw this on that. That's a nightmare. Plus, I don't get any search engine optimization out of it on my website. I right now have people clicking on properties every single day, times thousands and thousands with our team and all of this, that are giving me search engine optimization on my website, which puts me up in the rankings higher than, I know agents that use like their local MLS. Why would I want to make my local MLS's search engine optimization higher than my own? Right? So just think about those things because they are vitally important. All right. So the standard is my lender, my technology, and then third is my timetable to make sure that they're having the best experience possible. So Betty and John, I know you said that you had some availability this Saturday at 10 a.m. to look at properties. Is that still accurate? Yes, it is. Great. And let's say today is Wednesday. All right. So here's some things that we need to accomplish before we're able to see the properties on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Number one, I need you to get the pre-qual letter from XYZ lender. Number two, I need to make sure that using our technology, that you're going to see a little button next to every property that you like, and I already set you up on a customized search, or you do it in the consultation with them. You're going to see a little heart that says favorite. Now I know it's different on everybody's website, but it's the heart favorite button on ours. So I'm going to need you to mark the ones you want to see as favorites. Now, John and Betty, this is all about quality, not quantity. So there's nothing that's going to help you about seeing a bunch of homes. We want to make sure we're seeing the right homes that you can actually see yourself living in. All right. So to do that, again, if you see for any reason that you don't think you like it or don't want to see it, don't see it. There's nothing to reason to go, you never know, right? Believe me, I've shown enough properties. Every time anybody's ever said that, they knew. So we also want to limit the amount of properties to about 6 to 10 for that Saturday session. Now, I would say closer to 6, but again, if you feel that there's a lot that you want to see in there, that's okay. But again, they're all going to start to kind of blend together after a while when you get past that 6 number. All right, most of my clients that I've seen have the best process keep it into that 6 number. Okay, so what I just did there, most of my clients that had the most success kept it around 6. So that's a subtle little nuance there that gets them to go, well, I want to be like the good clients, right? So just think about that. You're dropping these little notes instead of you saying, look, I don't want to show you more than 6 houses. It's an absolute nightmare. All right? You're not going to tell them that. Okay? And they don't really want to see 10. There's not 10. If there's not 10, then we haven't done our research. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Okay? So we got that standard. The third standard is you need to have earnest money, a check with the earnest money. Here where we're at, it's 1 to 3% of the purchase price. So Betty and John, do you have those funds available? Yes, no, we're doing 100% VA financing, whatever it is. In different areas, countries, I know we have people on here watch our videos from Canada and Mexico and South America, all over the place and in Europe. But again, when we're looking at that, whatever your standard is for you to have to submit a successful offer. So here it's pre-qualification letter, copy of earnest money, and usually it's about 1 to 3% of the purchase price, right? We're going to need those two things to submit a qualified offer, okay? Then the last piece of this is now how on that day of the showings, what we're going to do. So great. So now we have to make sure that we have those two things. Wonderful. So what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to ask you to do, Betty and John, is if we're looking at properties, it's Saturday at 10 a.m., then no later than Friday at 9 a.m., I need you to mark off the list of the properties that you want to see as favorites, because most of the showings could take up to 24 hours. Most of the homes could take up to 24 hours to set that showing with the seller. They might have kids, they might be elderly, there could be a lot of different things, animals, who knows. So I need to have it no later than 9 a.m. so I can get that scheduled for us to see those properties on Saturday at 10. So can you both do that for me? Oh yeah, great, perfect. So once I have that, by 5 p.m. on Friday, I'm going to email you the first address to meet me at on Saturday at 10 o'clock for us to start our tour. Now, with us starting our tour, now see, this rhythm is really quick. They're going to meet me and then I'm going to go, now for us to start that tour, I want you to also remember two very important things. Wear very comfortable slip-on and slip-off shoes, as we're going to be going in and out of a lot of houses that require us to take our shoes off. So just make sure we're doing that. So we want to cover that. Now, if this isn't a COVID-19 situation or some sort of weird things, this is where you explain to them what else we're going to need to do. Gloves, mask, the precautions, all of these different things. But again, comfortable slip-on, slip-off shoes. Don't wear boots. Don't wear high heels if possible. We're looking for comfort here, because nothing's worse than you're showing the fifth or sixth house and they're cranky and their feet hurt and they're like, oh. They're not looking forward to making an offer on a home that day. They're looking forward to getting off of their feet, going home and having a margarita or whatever it is. So make sure, comfortable shoes. Next thing, Betty and John, I know you have the two adorable little ones, Sally and Steve. They're, adorable. What I would say though is I just had a client a week ago where his 7-year-old, we were looking at a house, ended up knocking over an award, a glass award, statue thingy that shattered into a bunch of pieces that was almost irreplaceable, because the guy, won this award like 10 years ago, smashed it into pieces. So it's tough. I really want you guys to be able to enjoy this experience, focus on the homes that we're looking at and not where's who and who's what and we're carrying this. So if you can get some coverage for that, it's fantastic. Believe me, it's going to help you a lot in wanting to just really enjoy that day and focus on the home. All right, so I'm excited. So again, we're going to need the pre-qual letter no later than 5 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to need the properties selected no later than 9 a.m. on Friday. We're going to need to make sure that we have in our account the funds required and bring our checkbook on Saturday to be able to write the earnest money check for when we find the perfect home that you're going to make an offer on Saturday. So those are the things that we're going to need. Now, behind the scenes, I'm going to be looking for all kind of properties as well for you. We're going to be door knocking the neighborhood, calling the neighbors, trying to see anything that might be off market that might be a good fit for you as well. So again, we're going to be doing all of that. Just want to make sure that you're seeing properties that you actually like by looking at them online and marking them as a favorite. All right. So I've sent you the custom link. All of that's done. I'm excited. Have a good day. They head off. All right. So now, then they send all the properties. You get the tour set up. It's Saturday. You meet them at the first property. Now, this is where doing the research comes into play. Let's say on Friday you get back this list of all kind of crazy stuff that they picked. You're like, gosh, they marked 25 favorites. Super. You're going to go through and you're going to call them and say, hey, look, I want to realign our goals because you told me A, B, C, D did not work for your situation. You said that it really, really had to be a main floor master. 6 of the 20 you picked are not a main floor master. So again, I know how much that is important to you. There's no point in seeing those. Several of them are ranches, and you told me that you really prefer a 2-story. Whatever it is, this is where agents make the biggest mistakes I've seen. They just see somebody want to see properties. They take the addresses and they go, if I show it to them, it's giving me a shot. No, you don't get paid to show homes. You don't get paid to show homes. You get paid for you to find them the home that makes the most sense for them, and that helps with them looking at it first, and then you actually helping them buy that home. There's not an award for selling 100 homes, right? Or showing 100 homes. There's an award for selling probably 100, depending on your market. All right. So you don't get paid for showing homes. You get paid for selling them the home, or for them buying the home, to be honest with you. Okay. So do the research ahead of time. Really look at this and say, am I dialed into what they want to see, and make sure that they're in line with it as well. The next one. So now when I'm setting up my tour, I'm going to show the home based on all of their criteria, everything they told me, price, style, everything. I'm always going to start with showing them the home that I believe is the best fit or the best one for them. Okay. Now people always go, why, Brendan? What, again, I'm just telling you the strategy that's worked for me. And again, I've sold thousands of homes, right? Here's the strategy that works best for me. I'm going to show them the best. Well, what if it doesn't make sense on the map? And what if this? And yes, there's a million different what ifs. I completely understand. As general practice, if you can, do it this way. Okay? Do the extra work. Excuse me. I see people all the time be like, well, I just want to make it as easy as the map from my house to my house, whatever. Well, then go show them a bunch of houses and not have success. Show the best first. The reason for that is because as you show them the first one, that's the best one, they're going to love that property. More than likely. They may not, but a lot of times they're going to love that property. So they're looking at it. They're like, wow, this is, blah, 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 blah. Then you go to the next property. Every property other than that, they're going to be like, wah, 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 not as good. Yeah, it was okay, but man, that first one really was, that one was, oh yeah. And normally that first one, a lot of times, probably going to be the most expensive one, let's be honest, because you get a lot of times what you pay for. Not always, but a lot of times what you pay for. So that's also going to be very important. Now, when you get to the last home, the fifth, sixth home, whatever it might be, so now we're in the last home, and we're looking at everything, and they're going, all right, we're looking, and this is where you got to keep the rhythm and the energy. So great, Betty and John. So now we've saw the last one. After taking a look at every property, it sounded like the home at 123 Elm Street looked to have all the components that you wanted for us to be able to make an offer. So what I'm going to do, and you just go right in to assuming the close inside the home. So great. So Betty and John, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to my office. I'm going to draft up an offer for that property. And at this point, two things we're going to need is number one, a copy of the earnest money check. Now for this property, it happens to be $10,000. That check needs to be made out to land title. And then number two is the offer price that we want to make the offer at. Now, this property has only been on the market for 2 days. So based upon those stats, we're going to need to probably come in at asking price or above. Now, if you get some questions here, you can always go call the agent. In the car, I'm calling the agent from the property that I think they like the most, already asking them when I'm going to another property, do you have any offers? What's the story with this one? My clients like it. What's the turnaround time? All that. I'm doing that all while I'm driving behind the scenes, if I know that they have any interest in the property that we just took a look at. Now, if we're in the last property, I'll still go down this pitch, but I'll be like, I need to hold on. Let me call the agent real quick and find out, what the status is. I'll walk back. If the agent doesn't answer, I go, no worries. I'm still going to head back and write the offer. As soon as the agent contacts me back, I'll send it over to you and we'll discuss that final purchase price that we're going to put in there, or offer price that we're going to put in there. So I'm assuming that close. It's exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. So again, I know you brought the checkbook. Let's get that check, $10,000 to land title. Well, Brendan, you know what? Is it all right if we just take a second or a night to think about it? Hey, look, I understand and appreciate it, Betty and John, that you'd like to take some time to think about it. But here's what I would say is the best scenario for you to have success. Number one is all you're doing when we make an offer right now is you're putting an option on this home to decide if you really want to buy it in the future. Now, I'm sure as you are aware that you have 2 get out of jail free cards here. Now, again, be careful with your licensure and how it works in your different areas. But we know that number one, we can get out of this deal before we put down earnest money. So number one, we have 3 days once we make the contract to put down earnest money. Number two is we have the inspection period. That's another get out of jail free card. And then in your own market, it could be appraisal, loan objection, and so forth, right? So we know that the contracts always weigh heavy towards the buyers to protect them. The buyers don't understand this though. So all I'm trying to do is make sure that they understand that, look, all we're doing today, Betty and John, is we're just putting this down. We're putting this into place. So you wake up tomorrow and you do want to move forward, we're good to go. Because otherwise, I've seen just last week, and I always tell a story. I had two of my clients, adorable young couple, Travis and Teresa. They missed out on this property because they thought they would take the night to think about it. Boom, it was gone, cash offer. They still are, really upset that they missed out on it. And I told them the same thing I'm telling you right now. So again, let's go ahead, make a move, get this thing on it so you have the option to make that decision whether you want to or not. Believe me, it works. So they give me the check for the earnest money. I head back to my office, draft up the offer, or if you have an assistant, you're calling your administrative staff to have them draft the offer for you, talking to the agent, and then deciding based upon all the parameters what that offer price. Now here's the thing with offer. Make sure you're making an offer that's going to get them the house. Make an offer that's going to get them the house. There's nowhere in your buyer agency agreement that says, I need to get them the house for the lowest price possible. It does not say that. Your buyers want to get the home. You're there to educate them on what it's going to take to do it, and then let them decide what they want to do, not you. I hear agents go all the time, well, yeah, boy, they're listed at 500 grand. That's just overpriced. So, Betty and John, you should probably come in at 450. I'm like, right? Smacking them right in the heads going, what are you doing? Your job, no one cares about your opinion. Your job is to get them the home they want. That is your job, period, end of story. So again, closing the home. Now, I know we covered a lot in this. These practices will help you a ton in your conversion with buyers. It'll help you in having better quality of life so you're not running around all the time showing one-off houses, doing all this stuff. Set the standard, right? Make sure they know how they need to work with you so they can have the most exceptional home buying experience on earth. So if you love this, please, 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 let me know your feedback. I'd love your comments. If you have questions about any of this stuff, let me know. Hit the subscribe button so you can get all this great information moving forward. Hit the like button if you found value. I thrive off of your feedback. And as always, I wish you great success.